Professor Tejo sat at his desk, staring at the message on his screen. He read it for the fifth time, still not sure if it was real. A guest lecture at the Galactic Academy of Sciences. He whispered to himself. No human had ever been invited before. The Academy was the oldest and most respected learning place in the known universe. For thousands of years, only the smartest minds from the most advanced worlds got to speak there. And now they wanted him, a human from Earth, to give a talk. Tejo ran his hand through his gray-streaked hair. Earth had only joined the Galactic Federation 15 years ago. Most alien species still looked at humans with curiosity or doubt. Some even seemed afraid of humans, though no one could explain why. "Professor, are you okay?" Tejo looked up to see Minji, his research assistant, standing in the doorway of his office. The young woman carried a stack of data tablets. "Read this," Tejo said, turning his screen toward her. Minji's eyes grew wide as she read. "The Galactic Academy. That's amazing." Her excitement faded when she saw Tejo's face. "Why aren't you happy about this?" "Think about it, Minji. Why would they invite me? I study how different species evolve. It's interesting work, but not important enough for the Academy." Minji put down the tablets and crossed her arms. "Your work comparing human biology to other species is the best in the field. You deserve this. Or they want to show everyone how primitive humans are," Tejo said quietly. "Put us in our place. Then show them they're wrong," Minji said firmly. "This is our chance to change how the galaxy sees humans." Tejo looked out his window at the Seoul University campus. Students walked between the old stone buildings and the new glass towers. Some were human, but many were from other worlds. Blue-skinned Ardani with their 4 arms, tall, thin Volini who spoke in musical tones, even a few Groks with their tough shell-like skin. 15 years ago, none of this would have seemed possible. First contact had changed everything. Earth was still recovering from climate disasters and resource wars when the Federation ships arrived. They offered help, technology, and a place in the galactic community. Most humans had been excited. Some had been afraid. No one had expected that many alien species would find humans unsettling. "You're right," Tejo said finally. "I'll accept." Over the next week, Tejo prepared for his journey. He gathered his research on comparative physiology and evolutionary patterns. He studied the many species that would be at the Academy. The night before he left, Tejo stood on the balcony of his apartment, looking at the stars. Somewhere up there was Proxima Centauri, where the Academy orbited in an asteroid belt. Tomorrow he would board a Federation transport ship for the 3-day journey. "What will I find there?" he wondered aloud. His comm unit beeped. It was Minji. "Professor, I sent you the final data on human endurance compared to other species. It's fascinating. Did you know humans can go without sleep longer than any other known intelligent species?" "I didn't," Tejo said. "Add it to the presentation." "Already did." "Oh, and I checked the Academy records. The last time they invited a new species to lecture was 342 years ago. This is historic." After they finished talking, Tejo looked again at the night sky. A shooting star streaked across the darkness. He thought about how far humanity had come. From making fire in caves to walking among the stars in just a few thousand years. That was fast compared to most species, who took tens of thousands of years to reach space. What did that say about humans? Tejo didn't know yet, but as the first human to lecture at the Galactic Academy of Sciences, he was determined to find out and to make Earth proud. The Federation transport ship slowed as it approached the Proxima Centauri system. Tejo pressed his face against the viewing window, eager for his first glimpse of the famous Galactic Academy of Sciences. "First time to the Academy?" asked the ship's pilot, a blue-skinned Ardani with 4 arms that moved gracefully over the controls. "Yes," Tejo replied. "First human ever invited to lecture there." The Ardani's eyes blinked in a pattern that Tejo knew meant surprise. "Interesting. The Academy is traditional. They do not often welcome new species. As they flew closer to Proxima Centauri, Tejo saw it, a massive asteroid nearly 20 kilometers across, carved and shaped by ancient technologies. Thousands of lights sparkled across its surface. Ships of all sizes moved around it like fish in a pond. "There it is," the pilot said. "Over 10,000 years old, built before my species could even make fire." The ship docked at one of the smaller ports. When Tejo stepped out, the lower gravity made him feel light and bouncy. He had to walk carefully to avoid floating off the ground. A large blob-like creature with 7 eye stalks waited for him. It wore a shimmering vest with many pockets. "Professor Tejo of Earth." The creature's voice came from a small device on its vest. "I am Dean Solzar. Welcome to the Galactic Academy of Sciences." Tejo bowed slightly. "Thank you for the invitation, Dean Solzar. It's an honor to be here." The Dean's eye stalks moved up and down, looking at Tejo from head to toe. "Yes. Well, your species is new to galactic society. We thought it would be educational to hear from a human scientist. Please follow me." As they walked through the Academy's halls, Tejo tried not to stare at everything. The walls were made of a strange material that seemed both stone and metal. Art and scientific displays from 1,000 worlds lined the corridors. Students and teachers from hundreds of species moved about their business. Tejo noticed that many stopped to look at him. Some whispered to each other. Others moved away as he passed. "Your room," Dean Solzar said, stopping at a small door. "I apologize for its size. We don't often host species of your dimensions." The room was tiny, with a ceiling so low Tejo had to duck. The bed was half his length. There was no chair, just a cushion on the floor. "Thank you," Tejo said politely. "It will be fine. Your lecture is scheduled for 3 days from now. Someone will come tomorrow to show you around." With that, Dean Solzar oozed away, leaving Tejo alone. After settling in as best he could, Tejo decided to explore. The academy was a maze of corridors, chambers, and gardens. In one large hall, a holographic display showed the locations of all known intelligent species in the galaxy. Earth was marked with a small, new symbol near the edge of one spiral arm. "You look lost," said a voice behind him. Tejo turned to see a human woman. Her black hair was tied back, and she wore the simple gray uniform of academy staff. "Another human," Tejo said, unable to hide his surprise. "I didn't expect to find any here." "I'm Hannah," she said with a smile. "I work as a liaison officer. There are 6 humans at the academy, but I'm the only one in an official position. I'm Tejo, here to give a lecture on comparative xenobiology." Hannah's smile faded. "Yes, I know. That's why I came to find you." She looked around to make sure no one was listening. "There's something you should know. Your lecture topic has been changed." "Changed? By whom? To what?" "By the Senior Scientific Council. They changed it to the curious evolutionary path of humans, a study in contradictions." Hannah's face was serious. "Many here don't think humans should be teaching at the academy at all. They want to study you, not learn from you." Tejo felt his stomach tighten. "So I was right. This invitation wasn't about respect." "No," Hannah said quietly. "It was about putting humans in their place." Tejo walked quickly through the academy halls, his face hot with anger. Hannah hurried beside him, trying to keep up. "Professor, wait. Where are you going?" she asked. "To see Dean Solzar. This is not acceptable." They found the dean in a large office filled with strange plants that moved like animals. Solzar's body rippled when Tejo entered without knocking. "Professor Tejo, this is unexpected," the dean said. "Why was my lecture topic changed without asking me?" Tejo demanded. The dean's eye stalks bent in different directions. "Ah, you found out. I was going to inform you tomorrow." "Inform me? You should have asked me." "The Senior Scientific Council made the decision," Solzar said. "Several professors felt that your original topic was Not appropriate for a species so new to galactic society. Not appropriate. Taejo tried to keep his voice calm. I've published 12 papers on comparative xenobiology. My work is respected on Earth and on 7 Federation worlds. Earth is young, said a new voice from the doorway, barely out of its cradle. Taejo turned to see a tall, insect-like alien. Its body was covered in shiny green plates, and its 4 arms were thin but strong-looking. 2 large compound eyes stared at Taejo without blinking. Professor Taejo, this is Dr. Gaxlorn of the Tervillian species, Dean Solzar said. He is head of evolutionary studies. Dr. Gaxlorn stepped into the room. His mouthparts clicked as he spoke. Humans have been spacefaring for less than 200 years. My species has studied the evolutionary patterns of the galaxy for 20,000 years. That doesn't mean, Taejo began. It means, Dr. Gaxlorn interrupted, that you are not qualified to teach us about xenobiology. You are an interesting subject to study, nothing more. Taejo felt a flash of anger, but also determination. He stood straighter. Then why invite me at all? I was against it, Dr. Gaxlorn said, but others thought it would be educational to hear from a primitive species that managed to achieve spaceflight despite their many limitations. Hannah stepped forward. Dr. Gaxlorn, with respect, humans have contributed significantly to Federation science in the short time we've been members. A few lucky discoveries, the insectoid alien dismissed with a wave of one thin arm. Your species is physically weak, slow to reproduce, and lacks natural defenses. You should have gone extinct long ago. The room went quiet. Dean Solzar's body had turned a paler shade of blue, a sign of discomfort in his species. Something clicked in Taejo's mind. This wasn't just academic arrogance. There was fear beneath Dr. Gaxlorn's words. But fear of what? If humans are so unimpressive, Taejo said slowly, why does our presence make so many species uncomfortable? Dr. Gaxlorn's antenna twitched. I am not uncomfortable. I am realistic. Then you won't mind if I propose a compromise, Taejo said. What compromise? Dean Solzar asked, eye stalks perking up with interest. Instead of the topic you chose, let me lecture on why humans, despite our apparent physical weaknesses, might actually be considered apex predators when viewed through the correct evolutionary lens. The room went silent again. Dr. Gaxlorn's body became completely still, a defensive posture for his species. Apex predators. The Tervillian's voice had a new tone, caution. That is, an unusual claim. Then it should be easy to disprove, Taejo challenged. Unless you're afraid I might be right. Dean Solzar's body rippled with what Taejo recognized as the equivalent of nervous laughter. Well, this is certainly interesting. Dr. Gaxlorn, what do you think of Professor Taejo's proposal? The insectoid alien's compound eyes stared at Taejo for a long moment. Then he clicked his mouthparts 3 times, a sign of acceptance in Tervillian culture. Very well, human. Give your lecture on this unusual thesis, but I will be there, and I will challenge every claim you make. I look forward to it, Taejo said. After Dr. Gaxlorn left, Hannah looked at Taejo with wide eyes. Do you know what you just did? The entire academy will be talking about this by tomorrow. Good, Taejo said, because I'm going to need help. Can you get a message to Earth? I need Minji to bring all our research files, especially the ones on human endurance and adaptability. What are you planning? Hannah asked. Taejo smiled. To tell the truth about humans, whether they're ready to hear it or not. 2 days later, Minji arrived at the academy. Her eyes were wide as she took in the ancient halls and diverse alien species. This place is amazing, she said as Taejo led her to a small room Hannah had found for them to work in. And a little scary. It's about to get more interesting, Taejo said. News of my lecture topic has spread. Half the academy wants to attend just to see the primitive human get embarrassed. Minji put down her bag and pulled out several data tablets. Then let's make sure that doesn't happen. I brought everything you asked for, plus some new research I found. Hannah joined them, bringing food and drinks suitable for humans. The three of them spread their materials across the table and began to work. We need to understand why so many species see humans as weak, Tejo said, and why some seem afraid of us. Hannah pulled up the Academy's database on her tablet. I can access the evolutionary records of all Federation species. Let's compare them to humans. For hours, they studied and compared. Patterns began to emerge. Minji was the first to notice it. Look at this, she said, pointing to her screen. Almost every spacefaring species in the Federation evolved from prey animals or peaceful plant eaters. Taijo leaned closer. You're right. The Ardani evolved from tree-dwelling gatherers. The Volini from herd grazers. Even the Tervellians like Dr. Gax Lorne evolved from insects that ate only plants. What about predator species? Hannah asked. Taijo searched the database. There are some, but they're rare in the Federation. Most predator species that gained intelligence became territorial and aggressive. They destroyed themselves before reaching space. But humans didn't, Minji said. We were predators who became cooperative. They looked at each other as the meaning sank in. That's it, Taijo whispered. Most species in the Federation can't understand us because we don't fit their pattern. We're predators who don't act like predators are supposed to act. They worked through the night, gathering more evidence. Hannah found records showing that humans could endure more pain, go longer without sleep, and recover from injuries faster than most known species. Minji discovered that human pattern recognition, the ability to see shapes and movement even in confusing backgrounds, was among the best in the galaxy. This evolved for hunting, she explained, to spot prey hiding in grass or trees. By morning, they had compiled a strong case, but Taijo felt something was still missing. We need more, he said, something that explains why we make other species uncomfortable. Hannah looked thoughtful. There's a section of the archives that's rarely used. It contains personal observations and theories that weren't formally accepted by the Academy. Maybe we should look there. The archives were deep inside the asteroid. The room was dusty and the air smelled old. Ancient data storage devices lined the walls. A small robot helped them search the collection. After hours of searching, Hannah found something. Look at this, a paper written 80 years ago by a Xanthi researcher named Krell. It's called The Terrifying Patience of Humans. They read it together. Krell had studied early human history and hunting methods. He wrote about how humans would track animals for days, never giving up, always following, until the prey collapsed from exhaustion. Persistence hunting, Taijo said. Our ancestors didn't need to be the strongest or fastest. They just needed to be the most determined. Minji pointed to a passage near the end. Unlike most predators, humans do not kill quickly. They pursue. They wait. They outlast. This patience extends to all aspects of their behavior. Once a human decides on a goal, they can maintain focus for extraordinary periods. This makes them unique among intelligent species and potentially dangerous. Taijo sat back, thinking. Now I understand, he said quietly. We frighten them because we don't give up. And that, Hannah said, is what makes humans apex predators. Word of Taijo's upcoming lecture spread quickly through the Academy. In the dining hall, aliens would stop talking when he walked by, then whisper after he passed. Some looked curious, others worried. Your talk is now the most requested event of the year, Hannah told him as they ate dinner. They've moved it to the Grand Lecture Hall to fit everyone who wants to attend. How many? Taijo asked. Over 2,000. And more will watch on screens throughout the Academy. Minji looked up from her data tablet. I've also heard that representatives from 12 Federation worlds have asked to attend. This isn't just academic anymore, Professor. It's becoming political. Taijo put down his fork. I never wanted to cause trouble. I just wanted to be treated with respect. It's too late to change the topic now, Hannah said. Everyone is talking about the human who claims his species are apex predators. After dinner, Tejo went for a walk to clear his head. The academy had several garden areas where plants from different worlds grew together. He found a quiet spot and sat on a bench made of smooth stone. "May I join you, Professor Tejo?" a deep voice asked. Tejo looked up to see an alien he had never met before. The creature stood on two thick legs and had a wide, strong body. Its skin was gray and looked tough, like old leather. Its face had small eyes and a wide mouth. "Of course," Tejo said. "I'm sorry, I don't know your species." "I am Duri, of the Lorne," the alien said, sitting down with a heavy thud. "We come from a high-gravity world. That's why I look so sturdy." They sat in silence for a moment. "I've heard about your lecture tomorrow," Duri finally said. "It has caused quite a stir." "So I've noticed," Tejo replied. "Are you coming to hear it?" "Yes." Duri looked around to make sure they were alone. "But I wanted to speak with you first. I have studied humans, secretly, for many years." Tejo turned to face the alien fully. "Secretly? Why?" "Because my findings would disturb many in the Federation." Duri's voice lowered. "You are right, Professor. Humans are apex predators, but revealing this truth could be dangerous." Tejo felt his heart beat faster. Dangerous how? "Many species in the Federation have deep genetic memory of being prey," Duri explained. "When they see certain behaviors or patterns, they feel fear without knowing why. Human behavior triggers those responses." "What behaviors?" "Your focus, your determination, the way you move, always watching, always ready to react." Duri shifted uncomfortably. "And your eyes?" "Our eyes?" "Front-facing eyes are a predator trait," Duri said. "Most Federation species have eyes on the sides of their heads. Prey eyes, good for seeing danger coming from any direction. But eyes like yours, looking forward together, are for hunting." Tejo thought about this. "So when other species look at us, they see predators, even if they don't consciously realize it." Duri finished. "It makes them uneasy. Some Federation members are already suggesting that humans should be watched more carefully, restricted in some ways." "That's not fair," Tejo said. "Humans have been peaceful since joining the Federation." "I know," Duri said, "but fear is not always rational. If your lecture confirms their fears, some may call for action against Earth." Tejo sat back, suddenly worried. "Should I cancel the lecture?" Duri stood up slowly. "That is your choice. But remember this, hiding what humans truly are will not make the fear go away. It will only let it grow in the shadows." After Duri left, Tejo sat alone in the garden for a long time. When he finally returned to his room, Minji and Hannah were waiting. "Where have you been?" Minji asked. "We've been looking everywhere." "Thinking," Tejo said. "I met someone who made me question whether this lecture is a good idea." He told them about his conversation with Duri. "So, what are you going to do?" Hannah asked when he finished. Tejo looked at the data tablets spread across his small room, filled with evidence they had gathered. "The truth is the truth," he said finally. "If we hide what humans really are, we'll never be truly accepted. Tomorrow, I'm going to tell them exactly what makes humans the apex predators of the universe." The grand lecture hall was packed. Aliens of all shapes and sizes filled every seat. Some stood along the walls. Others sat on the floor. The air felt warm and tense. Tejo stood backstage, looking at the crowd through a small gap in the curtain. His heart beat fast in his chest. "Are you ready?" Minji asked, handing him a water bottle. "As ready as I'll ever be," Tejo replied. He took a drink, but his mouth still felt dry. Hannah approached them, looking worried. "There are Federation officials in the front row, and media representatives from 20 worlds." "No pressure," Minji joked, trying to lighten the mood. Dean Solzar oozed up to them, his eye stalks moving in different directions, as if watching for trouble. "It's time, Professor Tejo. Remember, The Academy prides itself on civilized debate. I understand, Tejo said. He walked onto the stage. The bright lights made it hard to see the audience, but he could make out Dr. Gaxlorn sitting in the front row. The Trevelyan's compound eyes gleamed in the light. Tejo stood behind the speaking platform and touched the control panel. A large screen lit up behind him. Distinguished faculty, students, and guests, he began. I am Professor Tejo of Earth. Thank you for coming to my lecture on why humans are the apex predators of the universe. A murmur ran through the crowd. Some aliens shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Before I discuss humans, I want to talk about evolution itself, Tejo continued. About how life adapts to survive, and what makes a species successful. He showed images of different worlds, and the creatures that lived on them. He explained how environmental pressures shape the bodies and behaviors of all living things. Intelligence is not the only measure of evolutionary success, Tejo said. A species must also be adaptable. It must survive challenges and changes. The audience was quiet now, listening carefully. Even Dr. Gaxlorn seemed interested. Now let's look at what happens when species become intelligent, Tejo said. Most spacefaring species in our Federation evolved from what we might call prey animals, creatures that were hunted by others. He showed pictures of the early ancestors of many Federation species, plant eaters, small hiding creatures, herd animals. These species survived by being cautious, by avoiding danger, by working together, Tejo explained. These are excellent traits for building peaceful civilizations. Some aliens nodded in agreement. This was safe ground, comfortable ideas. But then we have humans, Tejo said. The screen changed to show early human ancestors. We evolved from primates, but our direct ancestors were not like most primates. They were persistence hunters. He showed an animation of early humans tracking an animal across a hot plain. The humans walked steadily while the animal ran, rested, ran again, and finally collapsed from exhaustion. Most predators in the galaxy are ambush hunters, Tejo explained. They hide, they surprise, they use speed or strength for a quick kill. If they miss, they give up and try again later. He paused, looking out at the now completely silent audience. Humans are different. We don't give up. We keep going. We follow. We track. We wait. And we always catch our prey in the end. The silence in the hall grew deeper. Tejo could feel the tension. Let me show you some comparisons, he said. Human endurance versus other intelligent species. Charts appeared on the screen, showing how long different species could go without sleep, how far they could travel without stopping, how much pain they could endure. In every chart, humans were at or near the top. Now let's talk about another unique human trait, Tejo said. Our pattern recognition. He displayed a series of images with hidden shapes, tests used to measure the ability to spot patterns in confusing backgrounds. Humans can see patterns that most species miss, he explained. We evolved to track prey by the smallest signs, a broken twig, a few disturbed leaves, a faint footprint. Dr. Gaxlorn's antenna twitched rapidly. Tejo could see the Trevelyan was becoming agitated. Tejo took a deep breath. It was time for his most important point. Humans are not simply another intelligent species that developed technology, he said, his voice strong and clear. We are what happens when a pursued predator gains sapience while retaining its fundamental nature. A strange silence filled the lecture hall. Tejo could hear the soft hum of the air systems. He took a sip of water and continued. Let me show you 5 key traits that make humans apex predators, he said. First, persistence hunting. The screen showed early humans chasing animals until they collapsed from heat and exhaustion. No other intelligent species in the known galaxy hunts this way, Tejo explained. Most predators rely on speed or strength for quick kills. Humans rely on something else, determination. He clicked to the next slide. Second, pattern recognition. Humans can see shapes, movements, and connections that other species miss. He showed a test image, a picture of a forest with a camouflaged animal hidden in it. Most species take between 40 and 60 seconds to spot the hidden animal in this image, Tejo said. The average human takes 12 seconds. Our brains evolved to find prey that doesn't want to be found. Dr. Gaxlorn's antennae were now completely still, a sign of intense focus intervaliance. Third, our trauma response, Tejo continued. When injured, most intelligent species shut down to heal. Humans can continue functioning despite severe injuries. The screen showed historical images, an ancient human hunter with a broken leg who had made a splint and kept hunting, an explorer who had walked for days after being badly wounded, a soldier who had carried his friend to safety despite losing blood from multiple wounds. Our bodies flood with chemicals that block pain and increase strength in dangerous situations, Tejo explained. We call it adrenaline. It helped our ancestors fight or run when injured by prey or predators. Many aliens in the audience were now leaning forward, totally focused on Tejo's words. Fourth, adaptability to toxins, he said. Humans routinely consume substances that would kill other species. The screen showed common human foods and drinks: coffee with caffeine, spicy peppers with capsaicin, alcoholic beverages. These substances are plant toxins meant to prevent animals from eating them, Tejo said. Yet humans not only consume them, we enjoy them. We seek them out. Our bodies evolved to handle a wide range of potential poisons because our ancestors ate whatever they could find while hunting. A small Volini in the third row stood up and quickly left the hall, looking sick. Others shifted uncomfortably. Finally, sleep patterns, Tejo said. Humans need less sleep than almost any other intelligent species, and we can go without sleep entirely for days when necessary. He showed a chart comparing the sleep needs of different species. Only two required less sleep than humans, and both were much less intelligent. Most prey species sleep lightly but frequently, Tejo explained. Most predators sleep deeply for long periods after eating. Humans do neither. We stay awake for long stretches and can wake up fully alert in seconds if there is danger. Tejo paused and looked out at the silent audience. He could see shock on many alien faces. Others showed clear signs of fear. Even Dean Solzar's body had lost its usual healthy blue color. But there's something else, Tejo said, his voice quieter now. Something that truly sets humans apart from other predator species. Something that made us the apex predators of Earth and perhaps the galaxy. He clicked to a new slide showing early human tools: spears, bows, stone knives. Most species in the Federation developed tools for defense or for gathering food, Tejo said. Their first technologies were shields, baskets, digging tools. He looked directly at Dr. Gaxlorn. Humans developed technology specifically for hunting, for becoming better killers. Before we had writing, before we had agriculture, before we had cities, we had weapons. The silence in the hall was now complete. Dr. Gaxlorn sat frozen in his seat. Every tool, every technology that humans have created since then, Tejo said, comes from that same drive. To extend our reach, to overcome our limitations, to become better at getting what we want. He showed the progression of human technology, from stone tools to metal weapons to machines to spacecraft. This, Tejo said, is what makes humans the apex predators of the universe. Not just our bodies, not just our minds, but our relentless drive to improve our ability to hunt. Dr. Gaxlorn finally stood up. His voice sounded strained. If what you say is true, Professor Tejo, then humans should be aggressive, territorial, and dangerous, the Trevelyan said. Yet your species joined the Federation peacefully. You have not started wars or taken territories. This contradicts your own thesis. Murmurs of agreement came from several parts of the hall. Some aliens looked relieved, as if Dr. Gaxlorn had found a flaw in Tejo's argument. Tejo nodded. That is an excellent question, Dr. Gaxlorn. In fact, it is the most important question of all. He clicked to a new slide showing ancient human cave paintings. The images showed groups of humans hunting together. The answer lies in another unique aspect of human evolution, Taejo said. Unlike most predator species, humans evolved in environments that required extensive cooperation to survive. He showed more images, humans in groups building shelters, sharing food, caring for children together. Predators are usually solitary, Taejo explained. They compete with each other for food and territory. But humans are different. We learned that working together made us more successful hunters. Taejo clicked through more slides showing how human societies grew more complex over time. This cooperation created something remarkable, he said. It created bonds between humans. It created families, tribes, communities. And eventually, it created empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. He showed images of humans helping each other, caring for sick people, sharing resources. Most predator species in the galaxy never developed empathy, Taejo said. They remained aggressive and territorial, which prevented them from building complex civilizations. They often destroyed themselves before reaching space. Taejo paused and looked around the hall. The mood had shifted. There was still tension, but also curiosity. Humans are predators who chose to be more, he said softly. Our history is violent, yes. We have fought wars, killed each other, destroyed parts of our own world. But through it all, our capacity for empathy has grown. The screen showed the progression of human moral thinking, from small tribal groups to larger communities to nations to global cooperation. We went from caring only about our immediate family to caring about our village, our country, our planet, Taejo explained. And when we met other intelligent species, our circle of empathy expanded again to include them. Dr. Gaxlorn's antenna twitched with interest. Are you saying that humans have tamed their predatory nature? Not tamed, Taejo directed. The same focus and determination that made us effective hunters allowed us to pursue other goals. Knowledge, art, cooperation, peace. He showed a final slide. It was a simple image of Earth seen from space, beautiful and blue. Humans are indeed apex predators, Taejo said. But our greatest prey has always been our own worst nature. Our most impressive evolutionary adaptation is not our endurance or our adaptability, but our capacity to channel our predatory instincts toward creation rather than destruction. The hall was quiet for a long moment. Then, from the back, someone began to tap their appendage against a surface, the galactic equivalent of applause. Others joined in. The sound grew until it filled the hall. Dr. Gaxlorn remained seated, compound eyes fixed on Taejo. The Tervellian's body language was unreadable. Dean Solzar oozed onto the stage, eye stalks extended in what Taejo recognized as surprise. Thank you, Professor Taejo, the dean said. This has been most illuminating. Are there questions from the audience? At least 50 appendages of various shapes and sizes rose into the air. Taejo spotted Minji and Hana at the side of the stage. Minji gave him a thumbs up. Hana was smiling, but her eyes looked worried. He had told the truth about humans. Now he had to face the consequences. A week after his lecture, Taejo sat in Dean Solzar's office. The dean's body rippled with excited colors as he spoke. Your lecture has caused quite a stir, Professor Taejo, Solzar said. I've received messages from 200 academic institutions requesting copies, and the Federation Council has asked for a full report. Is that good or bad? Taejo asked. Both, perhaps. Solzar's eye stalks bent toward Taejo. Some species are concerned, others are fascinated, but all are talking about humans in a new way. Hannah entered the office, smiling. Professor, the Academy Board just voted. Your lecture will be added to the core curriculum for all students. Really? Taejo was surprised. Even with the objections? Yes, Dean Solzar said. Some professors argued that your ideas were dangerous, but most agreed with me that understanding potentially dangerous truths is better than comfortable ignorance. After leaving the dean's office, Taejo and Hannah walked through the academy halls. Taejo noticed that other aliens no longer avoided him. Some nodded respectfully. A few even stopped to ask questions about Earth. "Things have changed," Hannah said. "Since your lecture, requests for human diplomats and cultural exchanges have increased by 300%. I thought they would fear us more, not less," Taejo said. "They do fear us," Hannah replied. "But now it's a different kind of fear, one mixed with respect. And respect is the foundation of true cooperation." They entered a small garden area where Minji was waiting with an unexpected companion. Dr. Gaxlorn. The Trevelyan stood when Taejo approached. "Professor Taejo," Dr. Gaxlorn said, his voice clicking. "I have been speaking with your assistant about your research." "Oh." Taejo was cautious. "What about it?" "Your lecture was disturbing," the Trevelyan admitted. "But it has changed my understanding of humans. You are not primitive lucky primates who stumbled upon spaceflight. You are evolutionary marvels who have transcended your nature." Taejo was stunned. "Thank you, Dr. Gaxlorn." "I have a proposal," the insectoid alien continued. "A joint research project to better understand human psychology. My knowledge of evolutionary patterns combined with your insights into human nature could produce valuable work." "I would be honored," Taejo said. Later that evening, Taejo, Minji, and Hannah stood at an observation deck looking out at the stars. The view was breathtaking, countless points of light stretching into infinity. "I received a message from Earth," Hannah said. "The Federation has approved 3 new human colonies on border worlds. They would have rejected this before your lecture. They feared us because they didn't understand us," Taejo said. "Now they fear us because they do, but that fear comes with respect." Minji pointed to the stars. "Humans have always been better allies than enemies. Now the galaxy understands why." Duri, the old Lorne professor, joined them on the deck. "I watched the recording of your lecture, Professor Taejo. You did well." "Thank you for your advice," Taejo said. "It helped me understand what I needed to explain. I have lived long enough to see many species join the Federation," Duri said. "But I think humans will change it more than most. You are predators who chose peace. That makes you unique and valuable." As they talked, Taejo noticed a group of young alien students watching them from across the deck. One of them, a small blue Ardani, approached cautiously. "Professor Taejo," the alien asked, "would you tell us about Earth? We want to understand humans better." Taejo smiled. "Of course." As more students gathered around, Taejo began to tell them about his home world. He watched their faces, curious, attentive, some still a little afraid. But they were listening. They wanted to learn. That night, in his small room, Taejo began to write a new paper. He titled it "Predators Who Chose Peace: The Evolutionary Advantage of Self-Mastery." Requests for his lectures were flooding in from across the galaxy. But more importantly, a new understanding was growing between humans and other species, an understanding based on truth rather than misunderstanding. Humans were indeed the apex predators of the universe, but they would use that nature to protect and build, not to destroy. And the galaxy would be better for it.